Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So, the Steelers' 2025 regular season schedule has been released. And I'm not going to give predictions because I feel that the Pittsburgh Steelers should win every single game every time they play. That's just me. Let's not forget, Steelers fans, last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers were on their way to beating the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, before Najee Harris decided to have a lack of concentration and just fumble the ball without even being hit. And that started the downslide of our season. We went on, a 6, 7 game losing streak to end the year, and we just turned into a complete mess. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I'm going to be positive. So, of course, Rodger Goodell in the NFL, we all know how they love dramatics and storylines. They're setting the Pittsburgh Steelers up for a complete media storm and media blitz. And let me tell you why. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers are taking on the New York Jets week 1. And we all know what the story is going to be. Coach Tomlin, Art Rooney, Omar Khan. If Justin Fields plays and he blows the Steelers out of the game, or even if he wins, even if it's a great competitive game, but Justin Field wins the game, that's all you're going to hear is how Coach Tomlin is the worst coach in the world. The Steelers made a mistake. It's Art Rooney's fault. Art Rooney doesn't know what he's doing. They let Justin Fields walk out the door. Meanwhile, that could be the furthest thing from the truth. We all know that Justin Fields didn't like the way the quarterback situation was handled when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you know what? He is absolutely right. Even when Russell Wilson was clearly struggling, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Coach Tomlin would not put Justin Fields in the game. I really believe that if Coach Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers left Justin Fields in the entire season, we would have won our first playoff game in 9 years. I believe that. He was a threat running the ball. He could pump it downfield. He gave you more ways and more threats to score. He gave defenses more things to think about. Russell Wilson was completely washed up and completely finished. And that decision falls squarely on Coach Tomlin's shoulders. Remember what he said? He said he went Lone Ranger against every single coach in the building and wanted Russell Wilson to start. I'm still confused by the decision to this day. But let's talk about the 2025 schedule. So, week 1, the dramatic start, of course, right off the bat. We really need, as Steelers fans, for the Pittsburgh Steelers to blow the Jets out of the stadium. We need to start with a 35-10 victory, because if we lose this game, the media storm, the distractions, the negativity, it's just the snowball effect from everything that's going on with Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers, I'm not criticizing Aaron Rodgers. He's been completely upfront with the organization. Somebody close to his inner circle is very ill. He needs as much time as he can to make his decision. He said he'll play for $10 million, which is a very charitable and noble thing to do, considering he could ask the organization for $25 million and get it. But the media lies and they cover it the way that they want to. And if the Pittsburgh Steelers, even if it's a great, super competitive game, if they lose to the New York Jets, the media storm will be going absolutely wild and crazy, where that's all anybody's talking about on every network, ESPN, social media platforms. It'll just be a whirlwind of negativity towards the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers really need to win week 1. They really need to win. If it's probably the most important game of the year. All the games are important. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers start off on a negative note with a loss, and then the media coverage, and then it goes from Aaron Rodgers, a lot of people are mad that the Steelers and Coach Tomlin didn't take a quarterback in the draft. I felt they made the right decision. They didn't set the organization back further. They needed to be patient until they finally get their franchise quarterback. But with all that negative media, if we lose week 1, it's just going to be a snowball of Justin Fields. Art Rooney doesn't know what he's doing. Coach Tomlin needs to be fired. It's just the negativity won't stop. It's just not going to stop if they lose week 1 against the Jets. We really need to win versus the Jets in week 1. And here's another thing. I don't know what it is about when the Pittsburgh Steelers come to New York. whether they play the Jets or the Giants, no matter how bad those teams are, and no matter how good the Pittsburgh Steelers are, we lose the game like clockwork. It's almost like if you notice when the Jets used to fly out to play the Raiders, they always lost no matter how good they were or how bad the Raiders were, they always lost. And the same thing with Pittsburgh. Every time we go to New York, and I despise the Jets and the Giants, we lose the game. I'm really concerned about this game because this game, it's like right from the jump. It's a make or break game for the Pittsburgh Steelers season because the media coverage of this game, if Justin Fields comes out and totally annihilates the Steelers or even just wins the game, here we go again. Negativity from week 1 to week 18. It's just not going to stop. Week 2, we play the Seahawks. Week 3, we're at New England. Week 4, we go to Ireland to play the Vikings at 9:30 in the morning. I'm not. Listen, I'm not into international football at all. The NFL is making so much money. They're just so greedy. You got to pay for independent games on apps. The average fan, a kid growing up, let's say you're a kid in Ohio and you're poor or you're from Pittsburgh, you just want to tune in to watch a playoff game. You can't do it. Rodger Goodell should be ashamed of himself. The amount of money that this league makes is absolutely astronomical and ridiculous. Every game should be on TV. You shouldn't have to pay extra to watch your favorite team. I I'm not a fan of these international games at all. I understand the league wants to grow the game, but I'm not a fan of it. Of course, the game starts at 9:30 in the morning in Ireland. It's just it's just I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. I'll never be a fan of international play. The Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they deserve better. We deserve better. I would love to see the if I could see the Steelers Vikings home, I would love to see them play the Vikings at home. Instead, the game's in Ireland. Pisses me off. Everybody's, "Oh, it's an honor." Yeah, it is an honor. And I'm glad that the people of Ireland get to see the game. There's kids over there that want to watch football. I get it. But I get it, but I'll never accept it and I'll never be okay with it. That's just me. So then we get a bye week in week 5, which I thought was a little odd. I guess from all the travel, the league thinks they're being nice to the Steelers and they give us a bye week in week 5. Then we play the Browns at the no, we play the Browns at home. Week 6, we play the Browns. Week 7 on here we go, Thursday night garbage football. So we play a division rival week 6. And then on a short week, we got to play the Bengals, another divisional rival. And I don't like this. The AFC North is very physical. It's hard to recover from the Sunday game. And then you get thrown in there with a division rival. It's just all of Thursday night football needs to be disposed of. The league is greedy. Rodger Goodell is a hypocrite and he's full of shit. Oh, we care about player safety. Players, that's all you ever hear. Player safety. The players are wearing NASCAR helmets so they don't get hit. You can't hit anybody anymore. You can't do anything physical. You can't play violently. Oh yeah, but by the way, after Sunday's game, we're gonna make you play Thursday instead of that Sunday. We've never had Thursday football before ever. And what is the shittiest football to watch? We all know the shittiest games are on Thursday nights. You know why? Because the players aren't recovered from the Sunday's games. Their bodies aren't recovered. You need those couple extra days. I am not a fan of Rodger Goodell at all. He's a politician. He's full of you know what. And these Thursday night games just prove it. It's all about you know what. It's all about the money. He doesn't care. I love when Rodger Goodell, he does his draft and he's in his basement with his blanket and his recliner. It's probably a stage. It's probably a prop somewhere. We all know he's living in a mansion in Malibu somewhere, eating caviar, but he tries to act like he's like the average fan and he cares about the fans and the players. Oh yeah, you care about the fans? Then why do the fans have to pay all these different apps just to watch football? Why, if you care so much about the players, why are they playing on Thursday night? I'm calling you out, Rodger. You're full of shit. That's why. Week 7 at the Bengals, Thursday night game. Week 8 versus the Packers, Sunday night football. I would have loved it for that game to have been a 1 o'clock game, but of course it's Sunday night football. Week 9 versus the Colts, 1 p.m. Yeah, that's a really tough stretch for the Steelers. The Bengals, week 7 Bengals, week 8 Packers, week 9 Colts. The Colts always play the Steelers tough. The Colts are one of the Steelers' toughest opponents. They always get ready to play. Always. Always get I'm glad we're at home to play them, especially when we go to Indianapolis. They're always ready to play the Steelers. Week 10, we go to the Chargers, Sunday Night Football again. I mean, that's kind of good because it lets you recover a little bit. Week 11 versus the Bengals at home. Week 12, we go to Chicago. Week 13, we play the Bills at home. Week 14, we're at the Ravens. This is another tough stretch of the schedule. Week 13 through week 18 is a killer. Week 13, we play the Bills at home. Week 14, we go to Baltimore. Week 15, we play the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. Week 16, we go to Detroit. Week 17, we go to Cleveland. And week 18, we go to the Browns. I mean, if you really had to look at that based on just quarterback play, the only team that you could safely say that from weeks 13 to 18 that the Steelers could beat will be the Cleveland Browns. If you're doing it by quarterback. I'm not going to be a negative Nelly and saying we're going to lose these games and this. I expect to win every single game. And yes, I expect to win every single game with Mason Rudolph. We got a good running game. We got DK Metcalf. We have an offensive line that's improving. And if we had any offense last year, the defense would have been a top 5 defense in the NFL. I expect to win football games. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't want to hear this is a rebuild for the It's not a rebuild for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got a lot of draft picks put into the offensive line. We got an excellent defense. We got our stud DK Metcalf, Pat Fryermuth, Jalen Warren. We have guys that can play football. We got rid of the locker room cancer, George Pickens. Everybody thinks the season's over because we got rid of George Pickens. The team got better getting rid of him. So Russell Wilson says that he's always loved New York and he's loved the Giants. Well, let me tell you, if Russell Wilson's the starter for the New York Giants, New York is not going to love him because this man can no longer throw a football. It's not that I don't like Russell personally. It is what it is, and that's it. Let's hear it from Russ himself.
Have you enjoyed the New York City experience yet? And what has it been like seeing and hearing from Giants fans out in the streets?
Well, it's so funny because I've been watching the Knicks game all night. I was like, okay, I gotta take this break to do this interview, but I'm like, what's the score? It's been fun, man. Just New York City, it's a funny story. My uncle, old he ended up passing away, but he was a big time lawyer in New York for a long time and everything else. And I always came to New York. I always loved New York City because he was always here. He's just an amazing individual. I mean, he always wore a Yankees hat. And it doesn't matter if he's come to, back in the day when I was starting as a young rookie, he'd come to I remember I played this game in Chicago as a rookie and he came to the game. He wouldn't take his Yankees hat off. I was like, oh, you got to at least put, this beanie on, Seahawks beanie on or something. And so I've always loved New York. I've always loved, obviously, the Yankees. I've always, being a Yankee, obviously being a New York Giant now, man, what a privilege, what an honor. I mean, this team's been going since 1925, man. It's a blessing to be a part of it and the traditions and what that means. And a guy like Eli Manning coming to talk to us, a guy who I got to compete against many a times, who I really respect, talking to us as players the other day and what it takes to be a Giant and what that means. And so, I'm looking forward to it and all the great things and also the obstacles and all that. But New York City is a great city to be in.
You know what cracks me up about Russell Wilson? He's like the serial killer psychopath in every movie, like the nice guy next door that he's got like 50 bodies in the basement. Everywhere he goes, his teammates can't stand him. Last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, how he was making up stories to try to cover for his bad play, that it was the offensive coordinator that wouldn't let him audible out, and then they were leaking it to the media. Like Russell Wilson, he really should get into acting, and he would be the perfect serial killer in every single movie. This is very true. I'm really mad that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to lose a home game because they have to play the game in Ireland and it's considered a home game. I am not a fan. I said it before. I'm not a fan of the international travel at all whatsoever, playing games overseas. The Pittsburgh Steelers fans deserve better, and I'm never, ever going to change my stance or view on that. You know, we follow the team, our hard earned money, the coverage, our excitement, our enthusiasm, our passion, our love for the team. And I feel like it's always like it's taken away from us and put somewhere else, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. If it's a road game, that's fine. But a home game to the Vikings, I'd love to see that game versus the Vikings at home. Of course not. Art Rooney says Steelers planning late week flight for Ireland game like they did in London. They should strongly reconsider. Matthew Marzi wrote, from our point of view, I don't think a lot has changed. Rooney told Missy Matthews for the Steelers website about being prepared to play in Ireland. I think we're planning to leave similar to what we did for the last international trip in London. Probably leave on Thursday and practice there on Friday and Saturday and have the game on Sunday and fly out Sunday night. I don't think it'll be too much different from the last trip. Last year, Cameron Hayward called Pittsburgh's itinerary for the London game the worst thing we did for that trip. He noted they left on a Thursday night, practiced first thing Friday, and so on. That was the first time I've ever seen coaches sleep in a meeting. I mean, it's a disaster. Everybody knows it's a disaster. Rodger Goodell is a politician. Rodger Goodell has single-handedly destroyed the NFL with all of his bullshit. You can't even hit a guy anymore. You can't tackle a quarterback. You can't put your weight on a quarterback. That's part of the game. If a quarterback gets injured in a game, the chances are the other team wins. That means the offensive line has to play lights out. So all these stupid rules, the kickoff, like Rodger Goodell has single-handedly destroyed the NFL. You know why? Because he makes the owners money, so they let him do whatever he wants. And he doesn't care about player safety. If he cared about player safety, there'd be no Thursday night football. There would never. He doesn't care. It's all the perception of the NFL. If perception of the public, it's a dangerous, violent game. Rodger Goodell, oh, it's a family atmosphere. We don't hit. We don't curse on the field. It's not a violent game. Football is a violent game. That's why we're all tuning in to watch it. I want to see a quarterback get tuned up. I want to see a pretty boy quarterback get his head knocked off. That's part of football. If you don't want to be physical, if you don't want to hit, then don't play football. I cannot stand Rodger Goodell. So you have all this input. You have all this input from the players. Oh, these international games suck. Even coaches are sleeping in meetings. Thursday night games are no good for the players, their bodies, their health, their minds. Rodger Goodell gets all this input. And guess what? Mr. I care about everybody. He puts that off to the side because all he sees is dollar signs. That's why. Ben Roethlisberger also said, won't be with the Steelers in Ireland, but he was there in London. He shared similar sentiments in 2023 in recalling the London game. That was such a big mistake, he recalled. We were so exhausted and gassed. In other words, it might be an absolutely terrible idea if the Steelers plan to leave for Ireland on Thursday night. To Rooney's credit, he did seem to be speaking at least somewhat informally. He did say, it's been a long time since we've done it, so we'll have to look into what other teams have been doing lately. You're not going to recover. If you fly out Thursday night and you have to play Sunday, your body, everything is off. It's just garbage. A 9:30 game in Ireland on Sunday. It's just, you know what? As much as I have a love-hate relationship with the NFL, as much as I love it, I hate it. The decision making, because no amount of money is ever good enough. The greed. Once corporations got involved into the NFL has lost its edge, and it's like a pro-feminist. We're going to talk about racism all the time. It's just there's so many things. Once these corporations got involved in the NFL has been going downhill ever since. I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.